Hey guys, this is Niki Rowland for Hip Kit Club, and I'm making a layout today using the March kits. I have all the kits, so the main kit, I've also got the Project Life kit, the embellishment kit, and also the colour kit. And today I'm working with a sketch, and we had a brief to include a recipe. You should see it there. We have to include a bow, a bird, blue, bling, a butterfly, and a big word. So that was a bit of a twist on the sketch this week, a bit of extra fun. Here I am, just getting started. So I've pulled out roughly what I think I'm going to work with. I've got 3 photos. I know that all of those tiles on the sketch don't necessarily represent photos, but I had these 3 cute photos that I wanted to go for. I'm just trimming my background down. I'm going to use a piece of white cardstock as my background, and I'm putting it onto that blue hearts paper. I'd already cut a cut file out of it for a different layout, so it felt good to use up the remainder for the outside, the border. And I love this postcards paper. It's so cool. Initially I thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with that? But no, it's awesome. So I've cut them all up and I'm using them as layers behind my photos. So I was trying to see if I could layer up and get the get the tiles represented by the postcards. There's 5 tiles in the sketch. I only have 3 photos, and I'm not sure whether I should add extra bits in or not, or whether I should just go with 3. I know that sketches are only a starting point, and they only have to be a representation, only there for inspiration. However, I was trying to stick fairly closely to it. Yeah, I struggle a little bit, and I move stuff around, and eventually I settle on just the 3 photos. And then I do add some other bits in as well, of course. So I'm just faffing around there trying to figure in what I can fit in. I really love some of the Project Life cards in this month's kit, so I'm trying to get some of those in. And then I realised at this point that I mustn't forget to include all of the things on the recipe. So that's why I've just pulled out there a bow and a bird, and I've just put them over onto the right side of my page for the moment, just to remind myself that I have a list of things that I have to include in this layout. I love the little tabs at the top of each of the tiles on the sketch, and I cut up that Project Life card, the stripy blue one, to put little bits of that at the top of each of my photos. So now I just want to use those fabulous Lindy's Starburst sprays that were in the March colour kit, and those doilies. So I'm just colouring them in using the sprays. I literally just sprayed them on top of straight onto the doily, as you saw there. I blotted it off with a piece of kitchen towel, and yeah, they coloured so well. And then I'm just going to tell you a funny story about why I did that next. I put them outside to dry, and I weighted them down on that piece of plastic with some bits on the corners, some stones on the corners, so it wouldn't fly away. Anyway, when I went out to get them, they'd gone. They'd flown right off of the sheet, yeah, I had to go searching for them. Thankfully they hadn't ended up anywhere bad, and I managed to retrieve them. So anyway, that's just a little funny story about what happened there. So now I'm going through trying to find some embellishments that will work well with this layout. Obviously all of the embellishments are just fabulous in this month's kit, but I'm trying to find some small pieces that I can use to represent the other tiles on the sketch. Unfortunately I don't seem to really manage it well because they're all a bit too big. It's because my photos are too big in the first place, really. So yeah, I'm just going through figuring out what will work, what I can use as extra layers. On the other hand, I don't want to go too crazy busy and end up with so much on the layout that it looks nothing like the sketch. So I'm just going through, pulling out the things in the right colours, and seeing what I can fit in and what will work on this layout. As you can see, I've pulled out some birds. Now, I don't really like birds. For some reason, they're an embellishment that I always struggle to use. I don't know why. I just really struggle to use birds. So yeah, I've just made sure that I've pulled some out so that I don't forget to include them. I also feel that they need to go the right way. They need to be facing the right way. and I have those ready to use, waiting. So there are my doilies, my runaway doilies, and you probably didn't see too well on this camera there, it didn't show up very well, but they're really sparkly. These starburst sprays are really, really gorgeous, and they dry so shimmery and really beautifully, so they're well worth a play with. And what I'm doing with those doilies is I'm putting them under each one of my photos. Just gives an extra little bit of colour. I like the round shape as well. I know the round shape is not represented in the sketch, but I'm good with that. Here I am still trying to get in those extra tiles and still struggling to make it work. Really tried hard to get those extra bits in, but yeah, I need 10 out of 10 for perseverance. But yeah, I didn't actually get there in the end, I don't think. So there you go, my birds are going on there, and then I struggled to fit in the bow because the elements on my page are quite big and the bows are quite big, so I struggled to get that in, but persistence paid off there, and it's at the bottom left of that top photo along with a bird, and the bird at the bottom right as well, yeah, so now I'm kind of happy with where everything's going. There's an extra tile that I did manage to fit in there to the right of that bottom photo, and I'm just layering everything up now and getting everything stuck in place. So now that everything's stuck in place, I'm going to get my title down. So I decided to go for a long title. So the brief was to have a big word, and I kind of went with a big title instead of one big word. But I've used these fabulous Doodlebug alphas, and the word because is pretty big. So I'm going to go with the fact that I've managed that that criteria. Yeah, this layout's about my husband and my little baby, and the relationship they have. My baby thinks that my husband is the funniest man around. He just cracks up laughing every time he sees him, and they have a great relationship. So that's what I'm documenting here, and the title is I Laugh Because You Are My Daddy. So the laugh comes from one of the Maggie Holmes Sunny Days sticker sheets. The word because and I come from the Doodlebug. Now I struggled to fit in You Are My Daddy with other letters, big letters, so I went for small ones. I found some from previous kits, so from my stash, so the small Pink Fresh alphas were awesome for this. So I have a bit of a multi title here. I Laugh Because You Are My Daddy. Really cute title. I was really happy with the way that it turned out. And I'm just using some of those Heidi Swap photo corners there. Oh, another bird's gone in. Just keep checking my list there. Yeah, I used those Heidi Swap photo corners to kind of put quote marks, if you like, around my title. I had to ink the edges of those because it was like a black and white design, and it didn't have a solid black line around the edge, so I just inked the edges of that with my ink pad. And I'm adding in some foiled pieces here because one of the items on the recipe was to include bling, and those Doodlebug gems didn't really work with this colour scheme. They looked a little bit too yellow, so they weren't going to work here, so I had to think of another way of including bling, and I decided to go for the foiled items from the Maggie Holmes chipboard sheet. Yeah, I'm nearly there now with everything. Just getting in some final bits and pieces. I've added some word stickers to my little tabs at the top of my photos. They're from the ephemera, the exclusive ephemera. Still going with the little hearts and bling, yeah, really nearly done. So I realised at this point that my photos weren't completely stuck down, so I'm just going in, making sure that everything is fully stuck in place. Keep checking back to that list to make sure I've got everything included. I think I have by now. And that bird's bothering me, you can tell, can't you? I've moved him around several times. I'm just handwriting in my journaling now, so I've just drawn some lines, with a pen, a grey pen, and my ruler, and just handwriting in the little details of that story that I'm trying to document today. Okay, and I think that's pretty much it. What I am going to do in just a second is add in some paint splatters with those really gorgeous Lindy's Starburst sprays. So I just wanted a few in some places. There's a few dots on the sketch, so I've gone for the same kind of areas in the sketch, and I've gone for just the blues and the greens from the Lindy's sprays. There was 3 as a pink one as well, but pink doesn't really work on this layout. So they were great. I just literally sprayed them onto a piece of craft sheet and picked up my paint with a paintbrush and added my flicks that way. Okay, so that is me done. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that layout. I really enjoyed making it. I loved the blues and greens. I really enjoyed the sketch, and I got there in the end with the bird. So yeah, that was Niki Rowland for Hip Kit Club.